Good day everyone. So welcome to another lecture of MedTech Laws. So this is Sir Neil. So today we're going to continue the discussion on RA 7719. And now we're going to talk about the apheresis facilities. When we say apheresis, guys, no, it refers to the removal of whole blood, and then you separate the component that you want and then return the remainder to the patient. So this is the procedure po, no? So you have the donor here. So the donor, blood is drawn from the donor. Then it will go inside the machine. Then sa machine na yan, pipili tayo, no, kung ano yung component na gusto nyo. It can be platelet ba, it can be FFP ba diretso, or packed red cell ba diretso. So ganun siya. And then the rest will be transferred back to the donor. So there are certain cases po na kung saan applicable to siya. Okay? So number one, one of the cases na applicable na siya if you have a rare blood type. Okay? So kung rare yung blood type natin, usually some people opt to undergo apheresis, lalo na if meron silang scheduled na operation. For example, yung mga patients with Bombay phenotype or yung mga O negative patients natin na very rare yung blood type, alam mo talaga na hindi ka makaka-receive ng blood bag na yan if ever na ikaw yung mangailangan. So kina-foresee nila, no. So let's say for example that patient will have operation or mga nakay siya 1 month before the operation, mag-undergo na yun siya ng apheresis, and then the blood component na makuha from the apheresis na facility, no, will be transported to the blood center, okay, for testing and then for storage. Okay, so it can also be hindi lang sa blood center, no, it can also be transported to your blood station, lalo na kung ang pagbibigyan mo naman ng dugo is sarili mo lang din, no, will be transfused back to you. So there's no need to for the blood bag to undergo compatibility as well as yung ating testing for TTI. So usually pag mga ganun na cases na sa'yo lang din i-transfuse, dito lang yan siya sa blood station store. Okay, so hindi naman ko siya i-compatibility testing. Okay, pero in the event na you want to help another person na O negative din, no, and then particular component lang yung kailangan niya, no, pwede yan siya na sa blood center i-transfuse, i-store, and then sa blood center po siya i-test for TTIs. Okay, another example din, if there are shortage po ng mga platelet concentrate, let's say for example nagkaroon ng dengue outbreak, so ibig sabihin kung may dengue outbreak, there is a need for platelet concentrate as well as FFP. So ibig sabihin, since kailangan mo ng maraming bags ng platelet concentrate, guys, no, mas beneficial po na mag-undergo ng apheresis because mas marami yung amount ng platelet concentrate na makuha in one donation. Compare mo yung sa isang blood bag, magkuha ka ng platelet, no, platelet concentrate, okay, from one whole blood to a platelet concentrate, mas konti lang kasi yung amount ng platelet na makuha ninyo in this way. But if you're going to use apheresis, mas marami yung amount. Okay, that's the reason bakit siya mas beneficial, no, kapag merong dengue outbreak. Okay, ano pa ang pwede sa mga cases po ng mga strict religions, like for example yung ating mga Jehovah's Witness po, na kung saan they are not allowing blood transfusion po, no, from other people. So usually they utilizes apheresis po, since ang kukunin na dugo sa kanila ang kukunin ng dugo is galing lang din sa kanila, tapos ang itatransfuse galing lang din sa kanila. I think it is not breaking yung kanilang religious na belief, no, yung kanilang karapatan, no. So ibig sabihin, I think the procedure is enough, no, to please every religion. Okay, so let's take a look sa next slide. So remember po, guys, no, that in here the blood components are sent to blood center or blood station, blood station, if ever na sa'yo lang din i-transfuse. Pero if hindi, blood components are sent to the blood center for testing and processing. And also remember po that apheresis of the blood donors, ito yung sinabi ko kanina, shall be encouraged when rare blood types are needed and the demand for units of platelet concentrates are high, such as during outbreaks of dengue, no? And then diseases like leukemia, aplastic anemia, and similar conditions. Okay? So, what I want you to know in this slide is the definition of a voluntary blood donor. So, voluntary blood donor is an individual who donates blood on one's own volition or initiative, and it is not induced. So, ibig sabihin, walang incentive. Okay? So, no incentive. No incentive, so wala talagang nakuha, no, na anything. Okay? Not induced directly or indirectly in any manner whatsoever by any monetary compensation. So, ibig sabihin, no, wala ka na dala na makakuha ka ng ganito para mag-donate ka ng dugo, no? So guys, if you really want to donate blood, no, you can go as walk-in po sa ating mga blood centers, 'di ba? Meron yan sila mga blood collection units diyan na kung saan pwede kayo mag-donate, no? And then dito sa SPC, pwede kami, maraming benefits po in donating blood. Okay? So dapat you should be a qualified voluntary blood donor. Okay? Qualified voluntary blood donor. Okay? Hindi ka lang qualified, voluntary ka pa donate ng blood. Okay? So, we have itong mga blood transfusion TTIs, no? Or blood transfusion transmissible diseases, including but not limited to your AIDS, Hepa B, Hepa C, malaria, and syphilis. So, please do include as well yung tinatawag natin na HTLV-1 or the human T lymphotrophic virus-1. Okay, so this is not common in the Philippines. However, I want everyone to include this, no, para dagdag knowledge rin sa inyo na nakukuha ito siya sa transfusion, guys. Okay, so if you acquire this disease, no, it is one of the viruses that can cause cancer po. Okay, so it can markedly elevate your lymphocyte, no, particularly the T lymphocyte. So, di ba, marked elevation of T lymphocyte sometimes signifies cancer, lalo na kung mga defective lymphocytes po sila. Okay? The rest, alam ko, aware naman kayo kung ano yung AIDS, ano yung Hepa B, Hepa C, malaria, and syphilis. So, lahat to sila makuha through blood transfusion. Okay? So, we have allowable service fees. So, basically, it is broken down into two, the direct cost and indirect cost. So, if we're going to try to understand the definition of direct cost, these are expenses incurred in collecting and processing blood. So, ibig sabihin, guys, no, lahat ng gasto involving the blood donation procedure, lahat yun, direct cost yan siya. When I say indirect cost naman, it involves the salary of your staff and the repair of your equipment. Okay, salary of your staff, repair of your equipment. So ngayon, kapag tinanong ka ngayon, saan mag-fall dito yung pagkain, no, yung mga ginapakain after blood donation, dito yun siya sa direct cost. Okay, ginapagplanuhan kasi, guys, no? So that is part of your direct cost. Yung mga bond paper na nagamit pag mag blood donation, guys, yung saan nagka-pirma or nagka-check sila donor, direct cost na siya. Pero pag sinabi ninyo na upgrade ng equipment, let's say for example, nagbili ng bagong weighing scale, no, upgrade ng equipment, sa indirect cost na siya. Okay, I hope klaro po siya, ha. Okay, so expenses incurred in collecting, processing blood from donor equipment, blood collection, blood screening, component preparation, storage, and distribution, with allowance for spoilage and professional services. Lahat yan sila direct costs. Indirect naman is yung mga reasonable expenses needed to maintain and upgrade services such as the salary of your staff and the repair of the equipment. Okay? So kayo, mga medtech po, if you decided to work in a blood center, no, or blood bank facility, so kayo, yung sahod niyo is galing yun sa indirect cost ng ating allowable service fees. Okay? So meron din tinatawag ng walking blood donors. These are individual who has been screened by history and physical examination, found sorry guys, found to be fit to donate blood, who is ready to donate blood when needed in his or her community. So ito siya, guys, no, walking blood donors, guys. Usually these are person who were already screened, no, giscreen na sila by history and physical examination, found to be fit to donate blood, And then ready sila mag-donate blood kapag needed sila na in his or her community. For example, if you decided na to have yourself screened right now, and then you found to be fit pero hindi muna kayo mag-donate ngayon, mag-donate lang kayo when it's time na needed kayo, okay lang din yan siya, no? That is okay. You will be considered a walking blood donor. However, please do remember na dili pod pwede na madugay, no? Siguro ang limit mo lang is around 1 month, no, na as walking blood donor. After that, if you wanted to become a walking blood donor again, you need to undergo another screening na naman. Okay? Another screening na naman. Okay? So, ganun po siya. So, let's proceed sa next slide. We have the promotion of voluntary blood donation. We have the public education, promotion in schools, professional education, no, which is what we're doing right now, no. I'm trying to promote to you the benefits of blood donation. Okay? And then the establishment of blood services network. Actually, guys, no, maganda talaga yung benefit ng blood services network because it allows us to check and know, no, kung ano yung mga pwede natin magawa for our community. Kasi nga, malaman natin dito na, let's say for example, there is any in need of type A. So, wala man type A ka, go to your nearest blood station, blood collection unit, no, or blood center. Okay? So, ito sila, guys, no. This is one way of promoting voluntary blood donation. Okay? So, we have the NVBSP, the National Voluntary Blood Services Program. So, ganyan yan siya. So, it is created to meet the needs for blood transfusion in all regions and aims to create public consciousness on the importance of blood donation. So, usually, itong NVBSP na to, guys, no, ipakita nyo sa mga blood bags natin, meron yung silang nakalagay doon NVBSP, no, na nakalagay doon na NVBSP na parang lot number. So let's say for example NVBSP 00123. So ibig sabihin this unique lot number po is ng blood bag na yan is sa'yo lang talaga yan siya. Okay, yan yung i-dedicate, yung sticker na i-dedicate sa form mo, i-dedicate sa blood bag mo, i-dedicate sa mga necessary document mo, as well as i-dedicate sa donor card mo. Okay? Bakit may ganyan? Kasi nga, yung NVBSP na yan, sila ang nag-procure ng mga blood bags na ginagamit ng mga blood centers natin. Okay? So, alam natin na magandang quality. So, the budget or funds po ng ating NVBSP is nandito nang galing. Yan sila. Okay? So, let's try to proceed sa next slide. So, we have the Philippine National Blood Services. So, take a look at this one, no, sa Philippine National Blood Services natin. Di ba, napakaraming mga people or mga governments or mga facilities na involved. So, ito sila lahat, guys, involved to sila. But, gusto ko bigyan ng emphasis dito is ito po, the immunology for blood donors is the RITM. Remember, pag sinabi natin last time, pag HIV, reactive na blood bags, no, blood bags, that is sa RITM. Pag HIV reactive patient sa San Lazaro Hospital na SACEL, 'di ba? Okay? So magkaiba 'yun ha. Pag blood bags, RITM, pag patients, no, sa SACEL. Okay? Another thing po na gusto kong malaman ninyo, the National Reference Lab for Immunohematology or the blood bank itself, no, is the NKTI. Okay? So, let's proceed sa next slide. So, we have government bodies, governing bodies of the PNBS, no, Philippine National Blood Bank Services, no, blood services, no. The chairman is the DOH secretary. So, obviously, di ba, kaya magbigay ng permission sa inyo is the DOH secretary or the DOH itself, and then mag-accredit is the PHIC. Okay, ang members natin, guys, is the heads or representative of the Philippine National Red Cross, Blood Coordinating Councils, the PSP or the Philippine Society of Pathologists. So, kasali ang mga pathologists because they are the head of the laboratory. So, ang blood bank is part ng laboratory. Therefore, ang inyuhang head is ay clinical pathologist. So, clinical pathologies. Okay, we also have the Philippine Society of Hematology and Blood Transfusion, as well as the director or the CEO of the Philippine Blood Center. So, depende na siya, no, kung asan na lugar. Okay? So, for the policies and guidelines according sa AO 2010-001, okay? So, nandito lang guys is since matagal masyado, 'di ba? 1994 ang ating 7791, 7719, tapos yung original is 1956 pa. Nagkaroon ngayon ng bagong administrative order, no? Parang gi-reiterate lang siya balik, no? That pag sinabi yung process, it includes pre-donation counseling, blood typing, collection, and testing. And then we encourage donors to donate every 3 months, no? Every 3 months na ngayon. Okay, every 3 months. And then remember din po that only your blood collection unit, blood centers, and mass blood donation may collect the blood. Okay, may collect the blood. So, si blood station, hindi pwede. Si HBBB, hindi rin siya pwede mag-collect ng dugo. Only these three under AO 2010. Okay, and then the testing, ito na yung ano natin, nila, i-reiterate nila, no? You have Hep B, syphilis, malaria, HIV 1 and 2, and then hepatitis C. Okay, sinabi rin dito that recipients of blood, no, requesting hospitals and end user facilities will also have the blood. It should be available for 24 hours. No, blood should be available for 24 hours. Okay? So ibig sabihin kapag mo nag-request ka ng dugo, no, dapat within 24 hours is dapat ano na siya. Tawag yan, available pa siya. Pwede mo pa siyang makuha within 24 hours. Then within 24 hours, dapat most likely ma-transfuse na siya. Bakit man guys? Because the bloods, no, since naka-rep na sila, dili mo na sila pwede basta, lalo na kung ang blood component guys is kananggikan pag freezer, dili na siya pwede na i-freeze balik or kanang mapabayaan ko na matagal dyan sa labas. Okay? And also, di ba last time, it was told na pag HBBB, tapos nagkaroon ng investigation, TTI should be tested, no? The blood bag should be tested for TTIs. However, dito sinabi po sa under AO 2010, retesting of unit for TTIs in health facilities is now optional. Okay, optional po siya. But 'di ba, ang napag-aralan ninyo or nabanggit ko last time is that if ever meron mang problem sa blood bag na nakakause siya ng TTI sa patient, ang may kasalanan dyan is the blood center because the blood center is the one responsible for testing. Okay? So in line with this, no, it is also stated here that hospitals should use blood products from licensed blood centers only. Okay? If nagamit kayo ng dugo po sa hospital ninyo, nag-transfuse kayo ng blood, and then hindi siya galing sa licensed blood center, tapos nagkaroon na TTI, you will be the one who will become liable, not the blood center. Okay? Kasi nga, hindi man good siya license in the first place, di ba? So, remember din that blood station facilities are not liable for any transfusion-associated infections because they are merely storing and issuing the blood. Okay? So, for the penalties, guys, ito silang penalties natin. So, please do memorize this one or kanang internalize. Okay? So, out of these three po, no? Out of these three, saan lang dyan pasok si Medtech? Only in this one. Okay, dito lang pasok si Medtech, no? Then dispensing and screen and tested and contaminated blood. Okay? So minsan na lang ganit masali si Medtech. Doon pa talaga sa 10 years imprisonment. Okay? So kaya laban ng Jud. Okay? So the rest guys, sa mga admin na collection of fees greater than what's provided, and licensed blood bank, so sa mga administrative na sila ng mga trabaho. Okay? So I think we are done with the discussion on RA 7719. Please to study our next topic, the HIV law, no? HIV law na tayo. Okay? So thank you so much for listening. God bless.